if you've experienced a time in your life where you just become a different person, whether that's realizing certain things, having an awakening, I feel like your life will never be the same, and I feel like you'll become very hyper aware. And if you're dealing with people who are like twin flame energy, like when I got more into knowing about the twin flames, I realized that it was like a personal um I don't want to say preference, but it was a personal like thought. You'll just have to look it up to know more of what I'm saying. Like I used to think twin flames was like a yes, this is your twin flame. But it's more like a you choose who you see your twin flame as based on your like the effects or whatever that you have with them. So if you're like in this like having this awakening and then you come across a person that's like a twin flame energy, which they mirror a lot of things, past experiences, situations, values, or whatever the case may be, it's like you're looking back at like a version of you or how you do things, how you think. And when I say this, it's like you can just see all these things within the connection. 119 on the clock. I don't know if that's really making sense. 121 is very significant, but it makes sense to me. But I'm trying to get it out to where it makes sense to you all. But anyways, I realized because I realized that I'm very hyper aware, and I was always smart and like all these things and everything like that. But like they said, wisdom brings or experiences bring wisdom, and going through different things so many amounts of times and that being stored in my subconscious to the point to where I go through stuff that's even more detrimental to my soul. Because mind you, I've been married before, and then I had to get a divorce because this person I found out they just was not for me. But I realized how I was in all of my relationships, and I realized how I was after that one relationship. But what really changed me was when my mom passed away, October 11th of 2020. That really, like, you know how they say you I'm gonna say unalive and you become alive again. It's like every part of me completely, it was like a death and rebirth. So it's like the mental is different, this is different, that is different, beliefs are different, and I feel like that's only because you're now hyper aware. That's why I'm fixated on not allowing myself to go through the same things. But I realize that it's probably just trauma responses or all of these things, which the twin flame dynamic is also helping me see. And thanks to the people who created internet, where they can put their knowledge up or their own personal experiences up in the web, to where you like, oh my gosh, I resonate with this, or something like unlocks in your mind to where you just put two and two together, especially after an awakening, because now you're very like aware. So I'm realizing maybe it's not necessarily this person itself, but based on us being in the same being in union and then having our own unhealed energies, and you not really figuring something out right then and there because it's not taught to you. There's no manual, I'm saying, unless you're going based off what everybody else think or what everybody else knows. But when you're going just based off this, new slate, clean slate, or a new slate, a new life, a new way of thinking, like how can you just discover a new way of thinking, a new way of being, or whatever, when you realize, wow, religion wasn't what I thought it was, or this wasn't what I thought it was, or especially if you come into a state of mind where you know that God is within you and all around, and that you have this inner guidance or compass, inner wisdom, intuition. So it's like you pull back from a lot of he say, she say, or projections or whatever, and you just start doing your own thing, living your own life, figuring it out as you go. So I feel like that's what's happening right now with me, and I feel like I was about to think myself to death. I have like a lot of air placements, so, and don't let me get started on the trauma that I experienced, to where my brain is just trying to protect me by having me have memory loss or like all of these things, which is not funny, by the way. 444 on the clock. So as I was just texting this person that I feel is a twin flame, I realized that, okay, I'm very hyper aware, because I'm like, I'm sure other people has showed me red flags, and it's crazy because I kept sticking beside them, and I felt like, well, maybe it's because I was just young in high school or whatever the case may be. And I'm like, no, it's just based on all of the experiences and like accumulating all of this knowledge. And now when I step into this new life of mine, to where I'm operating differently, or I'm seeing things in a whole new spectrum, in a very much more aware state, it's more clear now. I'm like, oh, okay, that's why I'm in this space. That's why I feel this and that way. It probably has nothing to do with me making the wrong choices or this and that, but me realizing the things that I no longer do and that I used to do. Me wanting better for myself and not allowing myself to repeat the same things, but there's no way that I will ever repeat those same things. But what I can do is still operate in a world based on trauma and unhealed energy, which is, it makes sense now, because some things probably didn't have to go a certain way. And a lot of times I probably didn't have to necessarily point the finger, which I never really do, but I'm gonna just say it like this so the message can get across. It's 616 or 919 on the clock. But yeah, every time I stop, I'm losing my train of thought right now, so I'm gonna be ending this message shortly. It was supposed to be this like less than 3 minute video, and it's already going on to 7 minutes. So if you know, you know, all right. You only can take what resonates for your life, and you can only interpret it in the way that your mind, body, and soul interprets it. So I pray that this message comes across you in the way that it is meant to, and I do hope you enjoy the rest of your lifetime. 6:45 on the clock. Don't stress. Keep moving forward. It's all a learning experience, and at the end of the day, you're just coming into different versions of these different versions of yourself until you meet that last version of yourself, which is just the part of you that's, it's just evolvement really, and awakenings, especially within yourself. That's why they say the world is your, like, the people in the world is like a mirror of you, even if it's not a twin flame union. And going back to that twin flame situation, the reason why I also resonate with that part is because when I was doing oracles, a reading, when I was talking about somebody else other than the person who I called a twin flame, it's like the twin flame card had popped out for, a person that I didn't associate as my twin flame. So now that makes sense. Now I see why that happened. It's simply just like a personal, I can't think of the freaking word every time I try to say it, but all right, bye.